Hi everyone, welcome back to a new video. In this video, we are going to talk about how we can upgrade our Kubernetes cluster. So let's get started with the video. Firstly, I'll go to the official Kubernetes documentation and I'll search for upgrade cluster, and I think this is the link. Yes, I think this is the link. So what we are going to do in this video is we are going to upgrade our firstly Kubedium version, then we will upgrade the control plane, basically the Kubernetes version, and then the kubelet and the kubectl, and then the upgrade the worker nodes. So let's get started. Actually, we have all the documentation in the official Kubernetes documentation itself. I'll just use this so that it is better for my reference, but I will not give you the link of this documentation, my tutorial, because if you see there are a lot of mistakes, and if you see clearly, then I have skipped a lot of steps as well, because anyways the steps are present here. So this is just to give me a good flow in how we can upgrade the cluster, but if you follow this video you'll be able to do it on your own. So let's get started. So in my VM instances, I have a Kubernetes cluster where I have two worker nodes and one control plane. I'll simply SSH into the control plane. So after some time, I could SSH into the control plane. I'll clear the screen. Let me zoom in a bit so that it is more visible. And now we can go to the official Kubernetes documentation. Before that, we need to know which version we are currently at and which version we want to go towards. For that, we'll say kubectl get nodes, and you can see that all my nodes are at version 1.29.6. So a few things I would like to talk about here is, firstly, how are we going to talk about the major, minor, and the patch version? So if you look at the first one, so one here would be the major version, basically the major, and then 29 is the minor, and then the 6 is the patch. So here we can say that the minor version is 2.9. Basically, this is how we upgrade. Kubernetes is still in major version 1, and after few months, every few months, we have these upgrades, which upgrades the minor version, and patches are like smaller upgrades that are more frequently done. So you should know that in Kubernetes, what happens is, even in the documentation, you will see that here also every like if we are at 1.27, then we can only go to 1.28. So you cannot directly jump between the minor versions. You cannot go directly from 1.27 to 1.31. For that you have to do from 1.27 to 1.28, then 29, then 30, and then 31. So that is how basically the upgrade happens. You cannot jump on more than one minor versions. So let's start the process. We will start by changing the Kubernetes package directory document. Click on this document, click on this link, it will take you here. And even before doing this, I think there's one more, uh, I think there is one more command that we should run, which is this. So in the documentation, sorry, not documentation, in the virtual machine or in the control plane node, what we will do is, firstly let me ls, so maybe we have to go here, and then inside the etcd we have a folder called So inside the etc, we have not I think I said HCD. So not HCD, my bad. I wanted to say etc. So inside the etc folder, we have this OS release file. And if you do cat inside this OS release, you can see the operating system that you are running. So I am running Ubuntu. So that's the first step that we should do. And if you are running CentOS or Fedora or H or RHEL, then you have to follow these commands. But for Ubuntu, Debian, and iPriot OS, I'm not sure about this, if I'm pronouncing it correct or not. But for these OS, we have to follow these steps. So, so this is the configuration file that we need to check out. Let me clear everything. And then if we go here, then you can see that our version currently is 1.29. So the first step towards upgrading the cluster is to change the version here. Let me do it again. Okay. So right now we are doing pager. We should rather do vi into this file. So now we can change it. I'll call it 30 because since we are at 1.29, we can only go to 30 right now. And then if you want to go to 31 or 31, then you can do it after that. So now it has been changed. Let's go to the next step. So now this part of documentation is done. You can close this one and come back to the main documentation. Now what we will do is we will go to the specific documentation that we want. So we want to upgrade our Kubedium cluster from 1.29 to 1.30. So there's that is where we will go. And we have already changed the Kubernetes package repository document. Now what we will do is we will run this command. First, let me run sudo apt update. Let me clear the screen. And then we will run the medicine Kubedium command. So what this command does is it will show us what upgrades we can perform here. So since we are at 1.29, so these are the versions that we can change basically. So we can go to 1.30 and then we can have these different patches. So the highest patches or the most latest version would be 1.30.9. This is not the most latest Kubedium version, but this is the most latest Kubedium version we can go towards. Let's go back to the documentation. And now what we will do is we will decide which minor version and which patch we want, and we will run this command. So you can simply copy this command. I'll save it in my text editor. And I'll call it 9 because I want to go to 9. And we will simply run this command. So in this command, we are firstly going to unhold the Kubedium and then we'll perform the update. So we are updating it to the newer version and then we are doing the hold again. So Kubedium has set to hold. We can close this for now. And now what we can do is we can run, firstly let me clear this, and then we can do Kubedium version. And we'll see that we have the new version installed, which is 1.30.9. Now we will run this command so that we can get the upgrade plane for the uh, kubelet, for the control plane and everything. So let me run this command. What this command does is it will check all these things in your cluster and decide what should be the appropriate plan for you. For example, it is telling us that our kubelet is at current version this and it can reach to the target version this. For our node, kubelet is at current version this, and it can go up to this. Other than that, it is also giving us details about the components, critical components of the control plane and of the cluster. So Cube API server, we can upgrade it to 1.30.9 again, and then all these are the control plane components. And then we have Cube proxy, same upgrade for core DNS for ATCD. These are like separate projects, so they have a different version for themselves. So that's what we can do. Now we just have to, it is also giving us the command that we have to run. So we just have to copy this command and we will run it so that all of these components will be uh, sent to the latest version. So firstly, let me clear everything, and then firstly I'll run sudo, and then I'll run the upgrade. I want to proceed, so I'll say why. So it took a few minutes, and you can see that our cluster has been upgraded to version 1.30.9. Let me clear everything. And now when I do kubectl get nodes, it is still not showing up. That is because we have to restart the kubelet. I think that should be the next step. Let me check out. We have already done this. This is for the other nodes. Let me be sure about this. So yes, we will restart the kubelet later on. Firstly, let us also upgrade the kubelet and the kubectl. Okay, maybe I confused something here. So here I did kubeadm upgrade, but we are yet to do the kubelet and kubectl upgrade. Okay, so that was my bad again. So let us go back and run this command. The node for us is C control plane, and we would ignore daemon sets because we would not want those critical daemon sets to be disappeared or to be removed or to be evicted. So we are going to ignore all these important daemon sets like Calico, which is the CNI, and Cube system, Cube proxy, etc. So the node has been drained. Now if you do kubectl get nodes, you will see it is currently at scheduling disabled state, because not just because it is drained, but because it has been cordoned. So when we will uncordon it, it will again come to ready state. If you do not know this concept, then draining basically means that we are removing or we are evicting everything that is inside the node except for the daemon sets, and we are also cordoning the node to be scheduling disabled. Basically, no new workload can be entered into the control plane as of now. Why do we do this? So that we can upgrade the kubelet and the kubectl and they do not face any issues or they do not face any like inconsistency, etc. Once we are done with it, we will again uncordon the node, and then after that, the it will be ready to the control plane will be ready to be uh, will be ready, and it will be okay, or it will be ready to schedule all these work nodes. Let's go back here, copy this command, come back here, and I'll not paste it here. Firstly, I'll go to my text editor, save it here, change this to 9, and now we will paste it here. There is some issue. Oh, we made a mistake. We did change the kubelet version. We did not change the kubectl version. So let's do that again. So now both the kubectl and the kubelet have been upgraded. So if you do kubectl version, we can see that it is 1.30. And if you do kubelet version, there's nothing called kubelet version. But if we add hyphen hyphen, then we can see that it is 1.30.9. Now, like I said, we need to reload the kubelet. So we'll do that. And once that is done, we can do kubectl get nodes. Okay, maybe it is taking some time. And now you can see that our C control plane is at 1.30.9. But we haven't updated the worker nodes, so they are still at 1.29, but our control plane has been upgraded now. So now that the control plane has been upgraded, the kubeadm, kubelet, and the kubectl, all of them have been upgraded. We can now uncordon it so that it is removed from scheduling disabled. So for that, we'll do kubectl uncordon C control plane. Okay, so the spelling was wrong. Cordon. And the control plane has been uncordoned. So if we do kubectl get nodes, we can see that the control plane is ready. And that is it for the control plane. Now we can go to the worker nodes and we can perform it for the worker nodes. For that, we have to go to upgrade Linux nodes. We will start off by doing the same thing again. We'll change the Kubernetes package repository, which is present here. Let me copy it. Let me go to my VM instances and SSH into the worker node this time, node 1. So I am at my worker node right now. Let me clear everything. I'll enter the command. We can see the version is 1.29. So that's what we will do. That's what we will change first. Let us change it to 30. Okay, so it is read only. That is because we did not add sudo at the end. We do need root privileges to change this file. So now it has been changed. So we have done this task, remove this, and come back to performing this task. For that, we will go to our text editor. The command we copied in the case of control plane, copy the same command, and I'll paste it here. One more thing you should know is we have to make sure that the all the versions, basically the kubeadm version, the kubelet version, and the kubectl version, all of them are consistent in the node as well as in all the worker nodes and in the control plane node as well. So the kubeadm has been upgraded. Let's go back to the documentation. Now what we are doing here is we are upgrading the local kubelet configuration. So we will go back and we will run this command, which is sudo kubeadm upgrade node. And now, as it says, you can go ahead and upgrade the kubelet package using your package manager. So let's go to our text editor and let's upgrade our kubelet and the kubectl. This is control plane. So after waiting for some time, the kubelet and the kubectl have been upgraded. So now we can do kubectl version. Remove this. The connection was refused, but it does give us 1.30 for the client version. Let me do it for kubelet. For kubelet also it gives the correct version. Let me run this again. The connection was refused. Let us continue ahead. I think it will come on our way. Now we have to drain our node. So this drain command is done through the control plane. So we'll go to the control plane and we'll apply drain command on node 01. By the time this happens, we can go and look for the next command, which is to upgrade the kubectl and kubelet. So we ran this command before draining it. That's the issue. That's the issue. That's why it is important that we do not. Uh, I think no. I think I ran. Let me check. Let me be confirmed about this. So we ran this command, which is to upgrade the kubelet and kubectl, which we should not have done without draining the command, right? Why? Because this can cause these inconsistency like it was caused right now. Let us run this command again just to be sure. We do kubectl version. It still says the connection to the server localhost 8080 was refused. But I think we should move ahead. Maybe if we reload the kubelet, restart the kubelet, starts working. What could be the issue? So let us go back to the documentation here. We have done this already. I've uncordoned the node and this part is done. So if you go to the control plane, you'll see kubectl get nodes. Now we have the C control plane and the node 1 version as 1.30.9. Similarly, now the next one we'll do is the node 2. So for that, we will go to our VM instances. I will SSH into the node 2. So after some time, we could SSH into our node 2, clear everything. Let's go back to the documentation. Same steps, there's nothing that we have to change. We have to follow the same steps. We'll start with changing the Kubernetes package repository, or the package, yes, the Kubernetes package repository. Copy this. I'll do sudo vim into this. Wait, this is node 1. Remove this. This is control plane. Where is node 2? This is node 2. So we'll do sudo vim, and now we will change it. This part is done. Go back, run this command, which we can find here. So after some time, this command was completed. We will go back here, update the local kubelet configuration. Now we have to drain our node, which is node 2. So for that, we have to go to the control plane and say node 02 cannot delete pods that are declared no controller. That is because we have a Nginx pod running in node 2. But this command will not run. So we have to go to the control plane only, say kubectl get pods. What it is saying is, it is telling us that this Nginx pod cannot be deleted. Unable to drain node 02 due to error, cannot delete pods that declare no controller. Let me delete it on my own. So now it works fine. The node 2 has been drained. Now we will upgrade the kubelet and kubectl just like we did before. Till the time this command happens, we can move to the next command, which is to restart the kubelet. And this was control plane. Let me go back here. In the node 2, so the previous command was run, and the kubelet and the kubectl new version have been upgraded. We'll restart the kubelet, and now we'll go to the control plane. We can say kubectl get nodes, and you will see that all the nodes have now been changed to the version 1.30.9. So we can simply uncordon the node 02, and it has been uncordoned kubectl get nodes. All of them are in ready state. All of them have a new version now, and all of them have new kubelet version, new kubedium version, kubectl version, and the control plane components have also been upgraded to the latest 1.30.9 version. Now you can also upgrade the 1.30 to 1.31. So this is how we perform upgradation in the Kubernetes cluster, especially in a self-managed Kubernetes cluster. I hope this video was useful for you. If you are interested in watching more videos on Kubernetes, then I have a lot of videos on my YouTube channel. You can watch them. In either case, thank you for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next one.